Thank you all for being here this evening. Before we get started, I've asked Mr. Goins if he would to please lead us in prayer for those who would like to join us and also for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Goins.
Our Heavenly Father, we're thankful this evening to be able to meet together to discuss affairs of the Surrey County Schools. And Father, we pray that we'll keep in mind our teachers, our students, and all of our faculty and our each worker in our school system. We ask Thee to bless them. Father, we ask that the decisions we make might be in their best interest. We pray for those who are sick and afflicted, that You would heal them according to Thy will. We pray for the people of Ukraine and other places in the world who are going through hardships at this time. Father, we just ask You to forgive us of our shortcomings and help us to do Thy will. In the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As we get started this evening, looking over the agenda, we've got two things here that have been added. So there's a 5.03 Epic Games have been added to that section within the report. An approval is not needed, correct? Okay, I'm getting my approval from Mr. Gillespie here. We had it all in one document listed under 7.04. The Goguardian, that's where there is a quote, and that's what we will need approval for. So you had it in a single document below. They should be two separate items, one for just discussion review, one for us. So with those two changes that have been made, are there any others from the board members? I'll ask for a motion then for approval of the agenda with that change.
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Goins, second from Mrs. Atkinson. Any other discussion? All in favor?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's get started with our recognitions, Dr. Reeves.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. Good to see you tonight. As always, it's great to start our meeting with a positive recognition, and that is a special employee in our school system. And tonight I want to recognize Ms. Sarah Knighton, the custodian at Flat Rock Elementary School. Come up here, Ms. Knighton. Ms. Knighton is our leader of the month, and I want to present this to you. She goes above and beyond at Flat Rock Elementary School, and I want to read some of the accolades and the recognition. Is that okay? Tell us who's here with you tonight supporting you.
This is my youngest daughter, Haley, and my older daughter, Annette. My husband, Edward, my sister-in-law, and my son-in-law.
Great. Well, thank you, family, for coming with her tonight, supporting her. She supports the Flat Rock family. These are some of the things that's been said about your mom, your wife, brother, and sister. So Sarah Knighton exemplifies strong work ethic. She does whatever it takes to keep our school running efficiently, regardless of what is asked of her. She does it all without question and with a wholehearted dedication to our Flat Rock school community. Sarah is never concerned with being recognized for what she does because of her willingness to go above and beyond is who she is. She will do anything to help any student or staff member in need. When the pandemic first started, it was Sarah Knighton who supplied her own handmade mask, free of charge, to any child in need. When a student may be struggling to have a good day, Sarah Knighton can always be found close by trying her very best to comfort and support that child. When we are lacking a bus driver, Sarah drives without hesitating. When a staff member needs a helping hand, Sarah is the trusted individual many turn to. Without question, Sarah Knighton stands for leadership in Surrey County Schools and Flat Rock Elementary. Undoubtedly, she deserves to be our county's Leader of the Month. Miss Sarah Knighton, congratulations. Ms. Knighton, on behalf of the Educational Foundation, and Miss Ashley Mills, we have a $25 gift wash certificate here for your car at Kraus Auto Detailing, a $50 Visa gift card from Scenic Automotive, and from Curriculum Associates, a gift bag. We also have a Surrey County Schools umbrella, and you'll get to get your photo put on that nice billboard on Highway 52. Miss Hyde, come let the board congratulate.
And you can shake hands well for me. Thank you for what you do.
Congratulations anyway.
Big smile. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, all right. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I had to adjust it this time. The Board of Education is asked to recognize the following grant writers for their dedication to the students of Surrey County Schools. Surrey County Schools is proud to recognize the following staff who were awarded competitive grants during the 2021-2022 school year and present them with an incentive check. So Christy Bledsoe, Franklin Elementary School, 7 grants totaling $1,711.43.
Ms. Bledsoe's not here tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Foster.
Tanya Fletcher, Franklin Elementary School, 17 grants totaling $4,879. Thank you.
Thank you for the program.
So Shauna York could not be with us, but I think it's worth noting that she had 8 grants totaling $1,480. It's great. Jennifer Collins, Franklin Elementary School as well, with 1 grant totaling $2,335.73. She's not here. Okay. All right. Annette Reese, also Franklin Elementary School, with 1 grant totaling $375.54.
Plus moving around the world.
Yeah.
So I think we're the same age. We're gonna be recording, I got it recording now. Just make sure to speak clearly in that direction. Yes. Great.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, I can pull it up there. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I got you.
I think we are ready to resume, according to our expert in the back. So with that, I need a motion to resume. Motion from Mrs. Atkinson, second. From Dr. Mosley, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. And so Lucas is recording the meeting tonight. He's asked that we speak loudly, and then we will have the meeting posted later online for everyone to watch at that point. So we are to the chairman's report. It is spring and there is a lot going on. So we have resumed our formal school visits that we had mentioned previously. We also had the foundation Mad Dash. I think we had a successful time. Thank you to those of us who participated and joined in the race that day.
And I can still walk.
And you can still walk afterwards. I was a little tired. I did take a nap that afternoon. But I think what that race really does is it brings out the families. And it's really great. My cousin came up to me. I don't know if he's ever run. And you were shocked too, okay? You know what I'm talking about. Yes. But his daughter was running and he was going to be in that race with her. And so I think that is the best part of the Mad Dash, bringing all of our kids together. And a big thank you to the PE teachers at all of our elementary schools for working with those students to set goals and give them an athletic outlet, especially for those who may not participate in any other sports. So I think it's a great day all the way around. And it raises money for the foundation. We have also recognized our Teacher of the Year, Anya Tilly Martin, our Principal of the Year, Donna Bledsoe, and our Beginning Teacher of the Year, Rebecca McLambry. So we certainly are proud and we're glad to be a part of that day to recognize them. We've been to DARE graduations. We have been to National Honor Society and National Technical Honor Society at all three of our traditional high schools. And I think those are really special times to recognize our students for their accomplishments and achievements as well. Want to mention a couple of things that we have done. We were a part, for the community to be aware, we were a part of the commissioner's budget meetings last week. This is when we go in and we present requests for per pupil funding, capital funding that we will need, supplement funding. This year we did our presentation a little bit differently. Dr. Reeves and the staff spent a tremendous amount of time on putting that formal request together. Thank you for that. So they did have that in advance, but we really opened it up to be more of a conversation. We took our last year's Teacher of the Year also spoke during that time on behalf of teachers and what they see in the classroom for assistance, and so that conversation will continue is what they have told us. So they are tremendously doing a lot of work themselves right now with our budgets. We understand that, but we really wanted to open it up. Others of you were there. Is there anything you would say in addition or add?
Great start.
We started. There we go. I'm trying to get the conversation going. Yeah.
And they appreciated our format.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you all for that preparation work to be able to do that. And then as we get closer to the end of the year, we've got a lot of other celebrations to do. Specifically, we will be looking forward to all of our high school graduations. But there's another graduation that I want to mention, and that is for our Principal Fellows. So I have the opportunity to serve on the Principal Fellows State Commission. So if you're familiar with Teaching Fellows, that encourages teachers, Principal Fellows encourages leadership. They treat this as a cohort of students now
to help teachers become principals. In our system right now, we have Shannon Duplessis and DJ Sheets, both at East Surrey. We have Matt Scott at Mountain Park, Tamara Martin at Copeland, and we also have, wait a minute, DJ, Matt, I did Matt at Mountain Park, Tamara at Copeland, I knew these off the top of, Martha Arrington. Martha Arrington, Martha's the AP at Rockford and at Pilot Elementary. And then this year we have 4 who will be graduating. They have done their 1 year last year of teaching in the classroom and going to school. And then this past school year, this current school year, they are doing their internship. So we have Ashley Queen at Meadowview, Ashley Newman at Pilot Middle, Hannah Holder at Central Middle, and Brandon Cook at Surrey Central. So they graduate on Friday in person, and then they have a virtual statewide graduation with all the colleges to recognize all the principal fellows, and that's going to be later in May as well. So we want to commend them on their efforts and their work for that. So that was my report. There are a lot of things going on right now in the school year.
It's it's the best time of the year, and as we want to bottle the beginning of the year, the end of the year is just as good. When you bring all these people together, like the Mad Dash, and you have all of these functions in public with no COVID restrictions, what a great time of the year it is to celebrate our students, our schools, and our communities. So you're right, those principals are really doing a great job, and that program has been very good for Surrey County. And we believe in trying to help our employees design their dreams and grow as leaders, and that program is a big part of that. And if we're not growing our own, we're really not doing the work that needs to be done in the county and building the pipeline. So we've done that and have identified those folks early on. The UNCG model is a national model. It's been recognized. They've received lots of funding, and we're very fortunate to be a part of that program. So I just say hats off to all of those people. You earn that degree. They've earned that degree. There are no handouts at that university. We're very proud of the work that they're doing. A couple other things in my report I want to say. This is Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, and we want to say thank you to all of our teachers and folks that support our students in our schools. And you see a lot of support across our district during this time of year. Also, just want to say thank you to our parent-teacher organizations that will bring goodies in for their teachers and their staff members all week this week. So it is a special week in Surrey County Schools to celebrate those who take care of our kids. And obviously they do a really good job. Just a couple other things. This past week, Yes Surrey was underway, and this is an entrepreneurial contest for our high school students, and Surrey County Schools came out on top with first and second place. And this is a competition with all area high schools. And so we have some budding entrepreneurs who have worked with mentors for approximately 4 months to put together a solid business plan, present that plan, go through a competition, be selected at their high school as the top winner, win $500 at their high school to go back into their business, and then get to go to the district level and compete. And so Grace Phillips, first place from North Surrey High School, she won an additional $2,000 to go back into her business, Grace Got Cake. A home baking business, and she has up to this point been in the business 16 months. She has made 95 custom cakes, well on her way as a junior in high school. The second place winner was Diana. Diana's from the early college. She also has a home bakery, and she has worked really hard and has also been in business, and I know she made $2,000 just over Valentine's Day. She sold that, and her specialty is dipped strawberries. So those two young ladies and budding business entrepreneurs have got you covered. So we're really proud of them and proud of their hard work that went into the business plan, but really proud of all of our students that competed. It was a very lengthy process, and I will say this, the mentors give their time, energy, and effort. It was really phenomenal. Big thanks to Sue Brownfield. Sue obviously retired from Mount Airy. She has put this program together and gone out and gotten the support of the community to raise those funds and be able to invest in those young people. And obviously an investment in them is an investment in the future and an investment in Surrey County. Another investment that we've made is in our Future Farmers of America clubs, our FFA, and just last week we had the state FFA officers come and meet with all of our FFA officers. They met at Gentry Middle School, had a phenomenal 2.5, 3 hours, Neil. It was really a great day. Proud that they could come. And I think encourage our FFAs to continue to grow and prosper. Gave them a lot of team building exercises and a lot of leadership, honestly. And if you know about FFA, it's all about leadership. And so whether students go into farming or not, we believe it's a great organization. So really proud that they were able to come and spend some time with us. Also appreciate your visits in our schools. I can't tell you how healthy that is for the school system, for the board, and for our schools to see our board members. Obviously with COVID in the past 2 years, you understand, but it's been really good to see our board back in our schools. And so thank you for your attendance and being there and making these visits. It means a lot to our principals and teachers to see you there, knowing that you're supporting them. And obviously it's very helpful as we take up items that impact our school system. So thank you. So that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we have our consent items on the agenda. Is there a motion for those? Motion from Mr. Badgett. Second. Second from Mr. Goins. Any discussion? Everyone in favor? Thank you very much. Moving down to our action items, memory bench. Ms. Short.
Good evening, everyone. I am here on behalf of Central Middle School this evening, and we are requesting to place a granite memory bench in the courtyard in loving memory of former exceptional children's teacher Janet Badgett. Mrs. Badgett's classroom overlooks the courtyard area. This monument will serve as a reminder of the love and passion she exhibited among her students. Mrs. Badgett touched hundreds of lives during her time spent in Surry County schools. The bench created in her loving memory will be an everlasting reminder of her commitment and the relationship she built with her students, co-workers, and community members.
Make a motion to approve it.
Have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? Do you need any funding for it? Or anything else? Do you need, that's our question, do you need anything?
We are covered.
Okay,
Thank you.
got it. You let us know if there comes to be.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you for doing it. Thank you very much. Dobson Elementary, school painting. No, this is lighting, I'm sorry. Let me put my glasses on. You're gonna do these? Okay.
So board members, in front of you, you're being asked to approve new lighting for the ball fields at Dobson Elementary School and Mountain Park Elementary School. These projects are being funded by the county commissioners. Obviously these fields are county use fields, but they're on the property of the school system, so it would require your approval. Tommy Lawrence, electrical contractors from Roxborough, North Carolina, have provided estimates, and we'll work with Anthony Kiger from Dobson Little League and another representative from Mountain Park Elementary School to facilitate these new lights going into these ball fields. They will completely take down the current lights. They will install a 70-foot metal pole. I did speak to Mr. Kiger today about Dobson in particular. Obviously, if you remember the greenway that the town of Dobson has worked on planning from Central Middle School to Dobson Elementary School, there was kind of a tight third baseline on that particular ball field, and Mr. Kiger and I discussed that, and if we can make this work, obviously we would prefer putting that third base pole in a place where it doesn't have to be moved twice after the greenway is built. So he and I are on the same page, we agree there. The greenway, obviously is not, it's on hold right now, they're still trying to acquire property and right-of-ways from different landowners, and I spoke to Laura Neely just last week about that. So that project is still, I think, a long ways from completion, but I just tried to think ahead. So at Dobson, I think they're lighting 2 different fields. These are metal halide lights, not LED. The cost for LED, Robert, was about $70,000 more. Metal halide is what we currently have on our ball fields. And you've taken a look at those lighting audits that we had, and obviously, if you remember, the metal halide will reduce light. But this will be a big improvement over what they have, and same type of construction at Mountain Park. So those representatives, Mr. Kiger couldn't be here tonight, nor the folks from Mountain Park, so I'm presenting this on their behalf so they can move forward with the approval of the board.
So the county is paying for the lights, but there's already Little League associations that are already paying for current lights that are there. Do they have some lighting?
Yeah, both fields have lighting, but they're really, both,
It's poor.
this pool.
Yeah, okay. But the organizations will then continue to pay power bills, whatever, because they're doing that already. Okay.
You keep all that still.
Yes.
Belongs to those.
Robert, any insight you have on the upkeep on those lights that we currently have? Have those been
Dobson
maintained?
Elementary the Youth Foundation has maintained the lighting there, and at Mountain Park, it's the Rueton Club.
Not sure, it's okay. Any other questions?
Well, I strongly supporting our community groups using it and the schools using it. Is that something down the road, Robert, we could switch to LEDs? Is that a big process? It's $70,000 now. You know, when we get to a point down the road, is that a huge undertaking to change out the light?
Well, it's just fixture for fixture.
Okay.
As far as the wiring and the infrastructure to support metal halide, it's just the fact of changing a fixture for a fixture.
I think the big costs are the poles. So they're removing wooden poles, I believe those are wooden poles, and replacing with steel poles.
Direct burial.
That are probably a lot taller. Not sure what the current height.
Do we have a motion to approve? So we would be approving both of these with the county commissioners paying for the lights. We're approving them to be on our fields.
Make a motion, we approve the projects for both Mountain Park and Dobson.
Okay. I have a motion from Mr. Badgett. Do we have a second? Second from Mrs. Atkinson. All those in favor? Okay. Thank you very much.
Travis, I mentioned this one time before, I was at a ball game there, and there's not any signs up that says it prohibits pits. And I didn't really know at the time if the school system owned that property or could put signs up there, but there were people down there at the ball field with huge dogs, kids running around.
Which site? Mountain
Well,
Park?
well, there's one kind of up to upper end, and there's one
At Dobson or?
at Dobson Elementary.
Okay.
Okay, I'll check on that, but we placed signs on the backstops just a few years ago. They're up, above the visibility line.
Well, I didn't get around behind the backstop. I didn't know.
But
that.
we can add additional signage if we need to. We have those.
Well, there was just a couple of people out there with huge, large dogs about the size of German Shepherds. I didn't know, I didn't see any signs.
Okay.
I'll check on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Danley, student handbooks.
Board members, I come tonight seeking your approval of our handbooks for elementary, middle, high school, Surrey Early College, High School, and Surrey Online Magnet School.
Okay. Questions or comments related to the handbooks? that have been placed. These were placed last month with review. We've had review come back. Placed online, we've had review come back from parents. And any staff have also have gone back through, I know, and reviewed these again, so. Okay. Are these printed?
We don't print until after board approves them, and then they go in, they're part of the planners.
That's what I thought. It's in the first part of your planner.
And translated,
For all.
yes.
At every school level,
Every school is
school.
printed in
And then we
okay.
put them online, and
Right.
then they go over all of that first week of school, teachers, principals, everybody goes over it.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
more familiar with the elementary planner versus anything in older grades. They tend to
Yes.
be more digital.
We use them in
Use.
sixth grade, and then it becomes digital in seventh grade unless we order very
Okay.
few, very few.
Thank you. So sixth grade is how long we
Sixth
can
grade.
actually hard copy,
Yes,
print
ma'am.
these to make available. Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
And we ask teachers to put them up on their Canvas pages as they're going over it in first week of school.
So then they've got it to
That's
see
got
there.
it.
That's when they also review.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Motion for approval on handbooks. Motion from Mr. Goins. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a second from Mrs. Atkinson. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Thank you very much. Handbooks are good. The Goguardian quote. Mr. Gillespie.
Hello again.
Hi.
Board members, I'm coming to you tonight seeking your approval to move forward with a suite of tools called Goguardian. The state of North Carolina put out additional ESSER funding in a very specific code, PRC 192, to fund the addition of filtration tools and things like that for internet, for the idea of protecting students, cyber security, bullying prevention, and things like that. Our current filter that we use is provided by the state, but it doesn't give us a good level of granular control over our filtering. And if we block something for one group, for example, for students, it's blocked for teachers as well. And sometimes that is not an ideal scenario. Goguardian would give us the ability to have very granular filtering. So we could provide one level of filtering for elementary, a different level for middle, a different level for high, and so forth. Also a separate level of filtering for our staff and teachers. So that's one of the benefits of this. This also includes a tool called Goguardian Teacher, which allows our teachers to have specific filtering just for their lessons. And so when students come into their classroom, for example, they may want students to have access to 5 websites for the research that they're doing that day. And those would be the only 5 websites that those kids could get to while they're in that class. So that's a great tool. Teachers can also monitor what students are doing on their screens with their Chromebooks at any given time during that class. And so if I'm doing a lesson on the parts of a cell, and I happen to have my laptop here beside me, and I see that Stephen is surfing something else online. Like, Stephen, you're not on task. I can click a button, directs them back to the presentation or whatever it is that they should be working on at the time. So it gives them a lot of control over that. It has a lot of other tools that we'll explore as we implement, but this is funded by that PRC 192 from the state and through ESSER funding. And so I am seeking your approval tonight to move forward with this tool. Questions?
So it works from their Chromebooks when they're in the school to get certain sites.
Yep.
What about phones?
So we will be implementing this. This is part of a lot of change that's going to come over the next couple of years. So one of the things is going to be adding guest level internet access. So right now our Surrey County Schools guest network is filtered at the same level that everything else is. So if you come into one of our schools as a guest, maybe you're from a university and you're doing a talk, or wherever you're from, you're going to get the same level of filtration that everybody else is. This would allow us to have a separate level of filtration on the guest network, which would filter their phones as well. Now, this would only filter the Wi-Fi if they're connected to our Wi-Fi. If they're on their own data, that's between them and their parents and their provider.
But it's with the,
Yeah.
it's through the Wi-Fi.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so our wireless internet and our hardwired internet would all be filtered through Goguardian.
But go ahead.
How about when they take the Chromebooks home?
Yes.
Same, it's same there
Yes.
too, right?
Yep, same
Okay.
there too. So when they're at home, they would have that same level of filtering that they have. If we have a student who's abusing their privileges, there's a feature that's basically like a timeout, and I simply just have to drop that student into that category, and they may be able to just access Canvas and I don't know, some website that they're doing research on in a particular class. So we can put them in there for a period of time, depending on what the needs are. Principals would have a lot of opportunity for reporting, so principals could go in and themselves, without having to get the tech department involved necessarily, to print out reports on student history, where they've been surfing, what they've been pulling up on their devices as well. So it gives us a lot of tools.
So that's when, okay, because if they are at home, they may be on home Wi-Fi, but they're still coming in as a Surrey County School student
Yes.
in the most part when they pull up their Google Chrome or whatever.
Yes.
That's the identity they have.
That's it. So,
Okay.
so when they log in, even if they go to a Starbucks or McDonald's,
Uh-huh.
as soon as that device hits the network says, hey, you need to route back through us, and it forces them back through our system and our filter before they can get out to the web. So they don't have any way around that aside from nefarious activities, and Goguardian does a good job of blocking those as well. One of the things that convinced me that this was a tool to go to is I did some research and to see which ones kids hated the most, and this was the
I was just thinking, you might get some calls from parents about that
Yes.
timeout thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes you look and you see where people are the most upset, and if it's the students that are upset, maybe it's because it's a good reason. So that was another thing that it's widely used across the nation, around the world. It is it's a good tool.
How does this price compare to what we pay for the state, or do we pay for the state?
We do not pay
So the state
for
provides that.
Zscaler, which is what the state currently provides for us.
Okay, so this is a quote for 1 year of the service?
Yes.
And then ESSER funding we have this year,
Yeah.
and do we do it?
We will need to sustain this once the ESSER funding runs out. So we will need to find funding sources if we wish to continue it, once the funding sources wind down. One of the things, for example, that will help fund this is currently we use a tool called NetTop Vision that gives some of that functionality to teachers to see what students are doing in their classroom, so that the cost that we pay for that annually would come off the top. And there's a couple other places that we can look in the budget, I think, that we can make this work. Other questions?
So in order to screen their activity, you
Yes.
have to have parameters, right? A name, a word.
Yes.
Who sets that, and how much control do we have over what is the model that keeps them from going to
Sure.
the inappropriate way?
That is a great question. So Goguardian utilizes sort of blanket level filtering. So for example, they have large databases of websites and stuff that meet certain criteria. For example, if you wanted to block, obviously pornography sites, those are going to be blocked. If you wanted to block sites that are tied to violence or certain different categories, those are probably automatically by default set. Then we can go in and add additional things to that if we want to. We can customize it. It is very, very customizable. And that's one of the reasons that I am suggesting that we switch to this tool. It gives us a lot more tools at our disposal that will allow us a lot more flexibility in what we allow students to see.
I can tell you a quick comment. When I taught computer applications years ago,
Yeah.
we had a tool on our desktop that we could see what the 24 students were doing.
Yes.
You get their attention real quick when you type them a little note, I see what you're doing.
Right?
What?
Yeah.
You get back on task real quick.
Yep. It's a really, really good tool and teachers need that functionality in a class where there's a lot of computers being used.
So is this what you're hearing from teachers as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion for the Goguardian quote?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Dr. Mosley, do we have a second? Second from Mr. Badgett. Any other conversation? All those in favor? Aye. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for Dobson hanging. Got my glasses on, I can read it.
Good evening, board members. In your board packet, you have a bid tabulation from April the 25th for the interior painting of the Dobson Elementary office building. It was delayed 1 year, of course, due to the phase 1 construction. So we pushed it back a year, so we're wanting to go in and paint that office building this summer. So be happy to answer any further questions you may have.
So this is part of our annual rotation where
That
we
is
paint
correct. Yes, ma'am.
different schools each year, so they would have been in the typical rotation, but with their construction, we changed it. And is this less than what we typically
Well,
would pay when we go into a school, since
Oh,
it's only this
absolutely, and
office
that's-
building?
Yes, but that's because of the phase 1 construction renovations.
Everything.
Those other areas were renovated and painted during that process, so.
Okay.
So that'll get the entire school up to new paint.
Yes, sir.
Motion?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Badger with the
We're
motion.
starting to think way too much alike.
Mr. Goins with the second.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Mr. Atkins. School calendar.
Good evening, board members, everybody's favorite topic, right?
Save the best for last.
That's right. So I believe that you are able to access, we have several drafts for you to look at, with various start dates. So to begin, I believe you have the August 15th start date on there, but that is categorized as draft A. And you've reviewed most of these. These have changed a little bit since Dr. Danlin had to insert a lot of required work days for letters training. But I'll quickly recap each calendar and then let me know if you have questions. In this calendar, we begin school on August the 15th. We take exams before Christmas with an 85-day first semester and a 92-day second semester.
This is exams before Christmas.
This is exams before Christmas.
All the way through the 21st.
Yes, and the last day of school in this calendar for students would be May the 26th. Okay, any questions on this calendar?
We still need the minimum 215.
Yes. You'll notice up in the top right-hand corner of each calendar, that first block there where there's a 2, that's a real light green. Calendar law requires 2 optional vacation leave days that we cannot require staff development on. The neon green days are staff development days. The yellow days are required staff development days. It is required, the red days, it is required that we have 11 holidays. We have the light purple color or pink. It is required that we have 10 annual leave days in the calendar for 10-month employees, and then of course the white days are the number of student days. You'll notice this calendar has 177 student days. We typically have 180 in our calendar, but just with the sheer volume of time that we're going to have to invest in letters training, we felt like 177 was the best we could do in this draft. That still exceeds the state minimum requirement of 1,025 instructional hours. Okay, so now we've got, the next calendar is an August the 22nd start date, and I believe this is calendar B1. Now in calendar B1, exams are taken before Christmas in this calendar as well. This is a real similar calendar to this year's calendar. The start date would be August the 22nd. Exams would finish December the 21st. This calendar has an 80-day first semester and a 96-day second semester for a total of 176 student days. This year, our first semester had 82 days. Second semester had 98 days for 180 school days, if you want to compare.
I know you had conversations with the high school teachers on these three choices. Did we see any issues this year with having an 82-day first semester length, getting ready for exams? We did.
Well, I'll say this, I think our teachers would tell you they felt rushed to get to, through the curriculum and through their pacing guides. And really, when you say an 82-day semester, it's really a 77-day semester because you have 5 days for testing. Also, as a result, our principals have shifted scheduling. So you're going to take a look at your master schedule. They may have moved honor classes to the fall semester, regular classes to the longer semester. I think our principals have tried to be strategic in using this year's calendar, but obviously that was what they wanted to do, to try to get our exams in before Christmas. And you realize with the number of students we have taking CCP classes, I know last year our kids earned over 5,000 credits. Well, it was about 4,600, I think, last year. The year prior was 5,000, but still, 4,000, 5,000 credits. We've got a large percentage of juniors and seniors taking online or taking college classes. So aligning with the college is really helpful. So that's why we tried to end before Christmas. Those are a couple of the constraints in talking to the high school principals today.
There's something just occurred to me. If we would try to do half of our English 1 in the fall and half in the spring, we do that as the way we lay it out. English, freshman English, half of those students take it in the spring and half in the fall.
Probably somewhat, pretty close.
So those two students, one of these, they're not getting the same level of education. If one's getting 82, one's getting 96.
And
or 80 and 96.
That's, as a former high school teacher, the balance is what concerns me with this particular calendar. We've done the best we can this past year, but the balance concerns me. And that it also, our high school principals prefer a balanced semester, but they also prefer exams before Christmas. And so it's hard to balance that because you just can't do it with this later start date. Unless you take exams after Christmas, which then presents another challenge with college classes and trying to get kids enrolled, scheduled, transportation, because we do provide transportation for our students that don't have it. And I think that kind of led us to the B2 calendar. If you want to pull that one up, B2 is the same start date as B1, but really the difference is exams after Christmas. And so it does balance the semester a little better. You want to go through that one, Neil?
It is. Again, as Dr. Reed said, it's the same August 22nd start date. Exam week, the semester would carry into January. Exams would be January the 9th through the 13th, with the first day of the second semester being on January 17th. And then that allows us to have an 89-day first semester and an 87-day second semester.
Have we had a calendar like this before to see how the testing results was happening after Christmas? Have we had a calendar?
We've tested after Christmas before, when we just, that's...
It was a few years ago, but it got really, it got delayed by the snow. God, it was mid-January.
I don't know that we've done a comparison study on test scores, Mr. Goldman. I do know Colby Beamer today spoke up and said, well, if we do this calendar, college classes their spring semester starts January the 9th. And I said, well, that's the age-old problem with not being able to match our calendar to their calendar. Because then our students would be taking their exams the week of January the 9th, their high school exams, and their spring college courses would begin.
It's been several years since our students have taken exams after Christmas break.
I think you need in this calendar in B2, B1 and B2, those drafts, the last day for students is June the 2nd. Because you'll see a difference in that when we shift to draft C.
Let me point out one other item on this particular calendar, and that's January 23rd. January 16th is the Martin Luther King holiday. January 23rd is a required staff development day for letters training. Dr. Danley that was the day that the third-party vendor could train us. So we didn't get to pick that day. The problem with it in this particular calendar is our high schools really like to have a work day between semester 1 and semester 2 to clean up scheduling. Because some students may not pass, may not be successful, may need to be rescheduled back into a class from first semester to second semester. Or they may have a change of thought and want to change a class. In this particular schedule, you would start, I think, on the 17th of semester 2. So you could have a week, 4 days before they have that work day. It might take that long to get the schedule worked out. So it's a nuance that's in this particular calendar. They voiced that today. I just want to make you aware of that. Make sure you're aware of their concern, not having that day between semester 1 and 2.
I think too, at the high school level, switching over classes and Canvas, getting attendance, and that you really need that day to get everything switched over, and having it 4 days later.
Our team obviously will make it work, but it's just, if things were perfect, it'd be a day between semester 1 and 2. Any other questions on B2? Okay, you want to go to C?
So draft C has an August 29th first day for students. Obviously, in this calendar, exams would take place after Christmas. This would allow, the final day of the first semester would be January the 20th. There'd be a required work day on Monday, January the 23rd for all teachers. And then the first day of the second semester would be Tuesday, January the 24th. This calendar allows for two perfectly balanced 88-day semesters, with the final day of school being scheduled for the final day of the school year being June the 9th.
Questions, comments, discussion?
My lip.
I know, we don't like any of them. I'll say it, we don't like any, any of them.
I think I heard a state representative or congressman at one time after they passed this idiotic law say that it would be child abuse, should be considered child abuse to send a kid back to school before September 1st. I think it's child abuse to make a kid go to school into June. Just saying.
Well, the 16th is late for teachers to be there. I mean, much later than what they're used to.
You'll also notice in this calendar, because you can't start until the 29th and you have to finish by a certain date, look how many work days we have to put at the end of the year that we really can't use in the year. It's, that's a tough.
And how's the balance on this one first?
Just as 88. Yeah.
Is there some, so we know the state says, they've set, there's a rule that says the 25th, the Monday closest to the 25th or 26th for start. Is there something for end that says you can't go, what's the date you can't go past?
June 15th.
June 15th, you can't have students in school past that date.
Right.
And don't you have to have so many days between the end of the school year 1 year and the beginning of the school year next?
Yes.
Ouch.
Yes.
What does?
42, I believe there's 42 days between the end of one working year and the beginning of another that you must have.
I didn't realize that.
So if we did this one and wanted to go to the earlier one next year, that affects that. I don't know how the 42 works out, yeah.
What does this do for summer school? sorry, but,
Just back it
because
up.
that's what we're running
So-
into here, because we've had teachers only working in June.
You would have to go into July. You would probably, it's July. You would probably whoever, you would probably have to skip the week of the 4th, and so you would have a split summer.
You
would
go
have-
not the week of the 19th, the week of the 26th, and the week of the 10th.
Most likely.
Do you have to have 3 weeks of summer school?
72 hours is required by law. I mean, we could possibly start the 13th or 14th.
Maybe it qualifies for year-round school.
Sounds like.
I
Well, I think,
use that practice.
I think we just got there with that end of July summer school.
Now, the board down the Total Palace didn't like it.
I don't know anybody with an address outside of Wake County that does like this, just my opinion.
The positive with calendar A is the most days in school is 177. It's not balanced perfectly, but it's 177, the others are 176.
So the question is, do we want to make do we feel like we need to make the decision tonight for families? We've asked for feedback on the calendar. We know that our families like for us to line up with the college and start earlier. However, we also know there is a statement by the state.
Did we have any comments from parents when they were offered the opportunity to see which one they liked the best?
You have the document. It was heavily in favor of their earlier start. Heavily in favor.
Maybe those people need to vote. Maybe we can get some people out of Raleigh that have no common sense.
See what they think. All right.
Scroll down.
At 61 responses, 46 of those responses preferred the August 15th start date. 7 of those preferred the August 22nd start date. Of those 61 responses, we had no one in support of the August 29th start date.
Express.
It's about 3 out of every 4 were in favor of this August 15th draft date.
Mrs. Sutton,
Yes.
I would put forth a motion that we adopt the August 15th start date with the understanding that once that date is entered into the state database, there could be the requirement to change the date back to meet the August 29th date. That gives all our families the opportunity to plan their vacations, because we would be picking the earliest date, and therefore if it moves anywhere, it moves back, so it shouldn't complicate or confuse the issue for them.
Okay, I have a motion from Dr. Mosley that we go with the August 15th date. Unless there is something that later happens that we may need to change that to August 29th. But we would go ahead and promote the August 15th date as our start date for students for the next school year, and August 8th would be our first day for faculty and staff, and that's how we would begin planning and preparing for our next school year. Do we have a motion?
You made a motion.
I have a
Second.
discussion for it.
I have a
If they send us a letter and says, we can't do that, we're gonna start 29th, and that's it, they don't say what they're gonna do, or, we're gonna do this or penalize this, or take the superintendent's pay.
Can I second the motion first, and then we can second what you did? Okay, I didn't do that.
Exactly, second it, so.
Yeah.
So, and, I'm sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I had another, because I think, what does that take us to, okay, 15th or 29th? Does that take the 22nd completely out of the equation in the minds of DPI? That's what I'm thinking. And if it does, is that something we want to have as a consequence of making this decision? I'm not sure that either the 22nd, either those dates are going to be great. The first one's the worst balance, and the second one, you're taking exams after Christmas, so I'm not sure the 22nd are really helping you either way. So I think I like that because it's, if people base their vacations on the 15th and we get pushed back, at least they've already had vacations before it gets pushed back.
Majority of folks want it
Yeah.
early.
The vast
Yes,
majority.
vast majority want it early.
That still leaves us with a little bit of unbalance,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it's as unbalanced as this year.
One thing that you can count on, especially in a high school, the second semester is going to have more awards programs
Yeah.
and year-end type things
Field
that you
day.
get class time, so
Yeah.
it's really not as, it'll still be a little bit unbalanced, but it's not really the 7 days that it probably appears to be when you take into account everything they have to do.
Don't we typically have more than AP classes in the spring too, so that they would have to get ready for AP exams, which
Yes.
takes a long time?
Yes.
You have more Mondays after Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
The only thing is make sure they don't cut his pay because
That's right.
we're not bowing down to the almighty.
Just tell them to come and lock up part of the ones.
Yeah.
Here.
We'll go to jail, but leave our superintendent alone.
You're safe.
Okay.
There you go.
Surely they'll take 2 for 1,
I'm
man.
not kidding.
It's a 2-room one.
I think everybody on this board knows how passionate we are about not going back on the 29th. It makes no sense
For our students.
for our students, for our staff, for our parents. It's just,
Just send them a letter, we're more concerned about the students in Surrey County than we are the restaurants and
in
hotels.
tourism and
The
the
tourism
beach.
down at the beach.
They'll let us start early. We'll come to
We're
the
gonna
beach
go
date.
to town.
Just tell them to go to the beach on the October date, when we do get a break, give ourselves a
Or
break.
in the May 1st of June.
There you go.
Not school.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion and the second, August 15th start date?
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, said we saved the best for last, Danielle. Thank you. Public comments? Ms. Freeman?
Jimmy Yokely,
He was here, he left.
You had to go to the commissioners meeting.
Jessica George,
Okay.
Hey, so I just wanted to talk about some of these policies that you guys are putting into place, one of them being the one that you voted on last meeting and approved. So this wasn't a part of the stuff y'all delayed, it was voted on last meeting. So that's policy code 3620, it's the one that applies to extracurricular activities. For the life of me, I could not find where it's up for public review. I am human and I make mistakes, so maybe it was, maybe I missed it, but I missed it. So I wanted, right here it says student-initiated, non-curriculum related secondary school groups will be permitted to conduct voluntary meetings on school grounds during non-instructional time, regardless of size of the group or the religious, political, philosophical, or other content of the speech at the meetings. And it goes on to say school employees cannot promote these, lead these, participate in at all. They're basically just there to make sure nobody's getting bullied or whatever. I only question this because it lists political groups. And I know that there's one group that I kind of brought up a concern with the principal because, not because of the content that a lot of people brought up, but because it was named after a nationally affiliated group with lots of worksheets, lots of material provided. And so I'm assumed based on the naming that that's what they were using. And I brought up that that website has a ton of information on how to be a political activist, all the politics. And they told me to talk to the lawyer, and that was it. And so now suddenly we have this new policy
that says, you know, regardless of political speech. And I'm just wondering, because I feel like if you crack that door open, allowing political groups on campus, because that group fits this policy. It is a non-curriculum based on your definition in here, that curriculum is things that you are teaching, not curriculum they're getting their own or whatever. It fits this. It's a non-curriculum, student-led, on-campus group. And if you allow that, then you're gonna allow all of them? Or are some more equal than others? Like, what's happening there? Because I know from speaking to some of y'all that you don't want politics on campus. I mean, I've heard that from almost all of you, and neither do I. And so I just thought I would bring that up, that this policy, while I know that you guys brought up a religious, you know, meet at the flagpole was brought up as an example. And I understand that does fall under here, but it does concern me that it also references political, and I know that's one of them that fits this bill. So I wanted to bring up and kind of just let y'all know that and see what your concerns were, if you had any concerns, what you thought about that. And then on the policy 5030, which is the community use of facilities, I don't think this was intentional, so I just thought I'd bring it up. It looks like a lot of what happened to this policy was it was just this section was moved here, this section was moved there, but in the process of doing that, you removed the requirement that the board attorney review any of the leasing of that facility, and you also removed language that said for-profit groups are not permitted to use the school facilities. And while that's sort of covered because they're not specifically listed in who can, I just thought you should know that you removed it. Like I said, those whole sections were deleted and placed elsewhere, and so maybe it was just missed. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go last this time.
I'll go last, okay.
That's okay.
That's fine, let's go first. They're gonna make you start.
Okay. You guys have talked, you know, mentioned all the things we've gone through this in the last few weeks, this spring, and the celebrations. I again have really enjoyed students being able to celebrate their achievements wherever that occurs, whether that's, you know, in band, in chorus, in athletics, in clubs, and entrepreneurship, and I think that's so important for our kids to be, you know, recognized for those things. I also have, and I commend the schools for making that happen. It's a lot of work. But I really enjoyed being in classrooms last week and seeing what students are doing on a daily basis. I enjoyed very much being able to interact with kids and them answer questions. There were so many kids who were, you know, like, for example, what are you working on there? Oh, well, this is blah, 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 blah. And I was impressed that they could tell you kind of what they were doing and why and what the goal was or whatever. I learned a lot, and it solidified a lot of what I thought and you know, about what was going on there. But it was a breath of fresh air to see it all and to see the kids excited and working, very engaged. And I thank those schools for having that happen in their schools. It takes a lot of work and planning to make it happen. But I do appreciate that for students, students, teachers, and administration.
Well, as it is teacher and staff appreciation time, we should appreciate them all year. But we certainly appreciate them this time of year. They've put in a long year. It's been a rather unusual year for them. I think the attrition rate is a good sign for Surrey County Schools, and I think a lot of that credit goes to the central office staff and Dr. Reeves and his leadership. And I think it's important that we recognize that and recognize, as Mrs. Atkinson was talking about, what our teachers do every day. Our students have exceptional opportunities not always available everywhere else. And for that, I am very appreciative.
Thank you.
All right.
No, that's okay, I just,
I think we're sitting there ready to go.
yeah, I'm good. I'm just really blessed, happy, and excited to be a part of the Surrey County Schools family. You know, over the last year, my life has been hell. And I just appreciate embracing me, embracing my family, taking care of us. My two girls, my two granddaughters are all in the Surrey County schools. And it would have been tough to get through it without you. So I really appreciate that. The staff, everybody from all the schools, the board, it's been amazing. And the community, I appreciate everyone that's reached out to us. And you mentioned having events at the school, and we had an event for Janet at Central Middle, and to see that and to see the outpour, and I thank you for that. I appreciate it. And then I wanted just to say real quick, something I called in our budget meeting the other day. The Surrey County Schools as an entity is one heck of an economic engine. 82% you brought up of our teachers live in Surrey County. Almost all the money that comes through our school systems is re-spent over and dollars leveraged in our school system. The largest employer in Surrey County. And it just amazes me that not only that the community gives to the schools, but the schools give back to the community. So I'm just very, very blessed to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just happy that the school system is back to a kind of a normal schedule, and hopefully over this COVID. And, it's been a really hardship on the teachers and the school system and parents and students and everybody. And so it's better now. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the people in Surrey County. We have hardships we talk about them at the meetings, but I wouldn't trade this school district or any other school district that I know of. I mean, we've got good people in Surrey County, we've got good schools in Surrey County, 3 good school systems. And so I'm just an old country boy that's glad to be a part of it, and hopefully that I'm making some kind of a positive impact on it. I hope I am. And I also appreciate the teachers and all the employees of Surrey County Schools. We've got several family members that work at Surrey County Schools, and it's just a great place. And it's not like a business, it's like a family. And that's what makes it great. The people make this school system what it is. And we have a great leader, and that's what it takes in any time. I don't care if you're going into battle or where or whatever, you got to have a good leader. I'm thankful for that. I've got a vested interest in the school. I've got, it's hard at my age to keep up with just how many grandkids I've got in the school. We'll have to do something about some family planning in the school. I think we got about 11, 12 grandchildren. They have a good day every day, and they enjoy it. I appreciate it. I'm thankful to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Speaking of that, I had 2 really good meals last week by having lunch in the schools. So it is nice to get to be there and to be with our kids, and as a parent to get to be there as well. So thank you all. Thank you for the comments. We do have policy meeting again this month that we can take these into account as well. I did make one note a while ago when we were presenting about the calendar, and that has to do with our letters training. We may need to do something just to make sure parents are aware, really how we communicate this of extra work days and what that means. I know we've talked a lot about it with our teachers, obviously, the elementary level of this type of science of reading, but to make parents aware when they see calendar and extra days built in and because of that. So I'll thank the staff and thank everyone for your work, certainly teachers, and certainly all of you as well this evening.
And if we could, explain what letters is, because parents won't know it, and they need to know it's about literacy, and I think that was a great point.
Okay.
That's our kids, that's where they start to learn, young age.
And the acronym's not quite spelled the same as letters either, so that's what it comes out as. So anyway, I think with that, you can see on the announcements, again, continuing with celebrations, lots of school visits. I know we've got lots of athletic events coming up too for our students at the state, regional and state level. So with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion for Mr. Yeomans. Do I have a second? Second from Dr. Mosley. All those in favor? Thank you very much. We're adjourned.